Hey everyone, Temporal here, and for this session we are reviewing a Silver Hog player. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. Or if you are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. So, Silver Hog, and I believe this is open queue. That's not really a breather that you want to use. You can just let your Mercy heal you up. Your ult is very, very bad, and if you can give that ult charge to literally anyone else, that's preferable. Usually you'd right-click, hook, left-click, because you're worried she's going to shift away if you don't immediately break her, but hey. Oh boy, we're playing down main. Okay. Where are we walking forward? Okay. There was very little reason to get super aggressive in front of your Reinhardt there, and at this point of the game, you should know that there's a Bastion on the board. After the 15-second mark, you know all of the enemy heroes. Why is that? Oh, because I have that one picked instead. After the 15-second mark, you should know that there's a Bastion on the board because pressing tab will show you the entire enemy team's roster, and that's very important. As soon as you know there's a Bastion on the board, finding that becomes your priority. If you go into a space where the Bastion might be able to see you and you're not aware he's there, you're going to get melted, like you basically did. And he's also the one you would be looking to hook. You need to scout him. You need to scout Bastions. That is important. That's part of what makes the mobile Bastion powerful, the fact that you need to scout Bastions. And the mobile Bastion can be shoot, he's not where we thought he was. Shoot, he's not where he was last time. So, like, there's no reason for you to have gone out here, gone for this Lucio, and taken a bunch of Bastion damage, because you should have already been like, hey, I don't see the Bastion up here. Is the Bastion up there? No. Oh, I peek and see the Bastion here. Great. And then you re-peek, hook him, and eliminate him, and you've won the team fight. That's how this needed to go. Just leave. But hey, you'll leave in spirit now. Yes, Blod. Just let the Hanzo handle the Zoom turrets. Don't handle them with your shotgun. Let the precision arrow hero do it. Precision Hanzo. But hey. Typing is AFKing. Of course not. They're a pain. No one wants to deal with them. Are you going to stand in your Widow's line of sight? Just block her shot completely? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's fine. And the reason it's fine to go for this D.Va is clearly, you're fighting this D.Va if you pull her, clearly in a place where the Bastion can't get you. So that's what makes it fine. But I hope you guys have identified where the Bastion is before you go in further. He's shielding for his Widow. Silver up in queue is clearly bronze. Yeah, probably.
My ultimate is charged.
Step left, step left, step left. Counterhook him. Okay.
Heroes never die.
Hey, Tommy Takeover. Okay, you can counterhook him back in. Good. And we got the Bastion. Interesting. Breather's fine. You're going to immediately push in. Close the angle. You didn't want to walk forward like you were during this. Like, you have plenty of damage to handle her now. You don't need to keep walking forward. You wanted to be like, I hook her, and I'm immediately ready to go back behind cover. I don't want to be out in the open when I hook her. I want to hook her, take her down, and then be ready to go back behind cover. If I don't have to go back behind cover, great. But that's what you want to do. You don't want to be out here for more people to punish. Does it matter this time? No, because your team has totally won this. Are you now going to break turrets or go after D.Va? You're going to go after D.Va. Cool. Now are you gonna break turrets? Okay, that's fine. Hanzo is dealing with the turrets. Funny, Nard. Funny. Good. Okay, but again, like, I like that you hooked this hog, but look at how out in the open you are. We do want to be more aware of this. We do want to be playing more around cover. I don't want to fight the hog over on this side of him. I want to fight the hog more on this side of him. If I'm on this side of him, I have an open sight line towards their respawn, and they get to shoot at me. I don't like that. If I'm fighting on this side of the hog, well, isn't that great? They can't shoot at me until they round this corner, which means, hey, they're contributing less to the team fight, and that would be fantastic, because it means your supports aren't going to have to look at you as much. You're going to have to waste less time using Take a Breather, etc. Yeah. And ultimately you go down, and you go down because this sight line is, well, in part because this sight line is open.
Seconds remaining.
It's fine, it can't hurt you. You don't have to take a breather. No one's going to follow up on you, but whatever. Do you actually have supports at this moment? Not really. No. You've got the only Mercy. Yeah, okay, you can breather. You've only got Mercy. It hurts. If we move in exact circles, they can't hit us. Okay. So again, we don't usually actually want to do this. Usually what you do is you'd right-click this. This is a big, meaty tank. Hook left-click is not going to eliminate this Roadhog. And what you're going to run into is if he right-clicks and you hook him, and then you left-click him, then he gets to hook and left-click you and potentially eliminate you. You want to go for the right-click first here. The right-click. No. The right-click, hook, left-click. Boom. Reasonable. Didn't really want the melee here. There was no chance that the melee was going to be enough to finish him. You've really just delayed your ability to do that.
30 seconds remaining.
You didn't super significantly delay it because Hog does have a slow rate of fire, but you did delay it. The melee is something that makes sense when you're going, hey, I hooked a squishy or I hooked a 250 HP hero and my hook left click didn't take them down. So I already am doing the melee because I want the extra damage the instant it's available, and I can get my damage from a melee faster than I can get my damage from another left click, and that is correct. And I can also get that damage even if the defense matrix shows up, things like that. But if the melee isn't going to be enough to eliminate them, which is not something you expect it to be against other tanks, if you didn't first right click them, you don't want to do it. You want to do the next left click as soon as you can. Works for me. You're immediately going to hook it. Great. Yeah, I think playing Reinhardt with just a Mercy would feel very, very bad. Again, you have 4 shots. You were behind your Rein shield. He was not going to be able to get by and cover anytime soon. Hook, left click, or right click, hook, left click is what you wanted. And he got away. And you probably weren't actually going to eliminate him at their respective distances with a right click, hook, left click, but he was going to be walking away with a smidgen of health that anyone could finish off. Whereas now, he's got lots of health.
Let's keep it moving.
Oh no, please don't sit on the cart. No, no, it hurts. Oh, full health breather. Full health breather.
Hide from my sight.
Okay. Okay. If you want to hook the D.Va without right-clicking her because she's DMing, that's fine. Well, okay then. I guess that Junkrat got a very important phone call. Felt it was very important to flame his team at that moment. I don't know. Okay. You can just straight hook this because you want to stop the damage immediately. Even if he survives, you can justify straight hooking this because the time to get your right click off is more than you want him to do damage during. And his damage will drop like a rock as soon as he's hooked. Okay. Took way more damage than you needed to. Like, this is a target that stands still. Hookable. The target stands still. This is hookable. Right now. Did not need to do this. Your hook range was not at such a distance that, oh, you weren't going to hook him before, but now you were. You would have hit your hook just fine from here. Just fine. By doing this, you caused your Reinhardt shield to take extra damage, and you took 300 damage. 300 damage. Because you took extra time to throw your hook against a stationary target. Stationary target. Want to be clear. You can do better. You can. Again, though, this wasn't a melee. Hook left click on this was fine, and I just told you hook left click was fine rather than right click hook left click because we want to get him out of the form. But we know he's a 300 HP hero, and yes, we probably didn't hit him right if we did this little damage to him with our follow-up shot. No, it's just armor being brutal. I mean, that was, yes, the shot could have been a little more, could have been aimed a little bit better, but it wasn't like, oh my god, that's awful. But the real thing is we knew the melee wasn't going to take him down because it's a 300 HP hero that has armor. Even if he's got a decent size hitbox, we knew that we were going to need more damage on him. The melee was not going to be enough, so we want to just go for the next left click as early as we can. This melee delays our left click. Us being at, having lost 300 HP to him already is also setting us back because now we can follow him less aggressively. We're scared. We're going to have to leave, and even though we hooked the Bastion, we're going to be in trouble. Now you're going to have to take a breather. And that's really unfortunate because he might get out alive. Okay. Oh boy. You're at 500 HP. You don't need to take a breather. Take a breather is primarily not a heal. Well, okay, it does heal you, but take a breather is primarily to help you sustain on off angles or to help you get out. Like if you went aggressive and you need to get out, take a breather is healing you, but it's also reducing damage you take. If you go aggressive on angles separated from your team where you're not going to get support heals, it lets you go, I did my work, I threatened this, I did this. Now, rather than having to go back to my team to get healed, I can sustain on this angle and continue to be relevant because I have breather. It's generally not, oh, I'm going to just heal when I'm with my team because I'm missing 100 HP. Generally don't want to do it that way. You get a little bit more of a leash for doing that because it's open queue. You only have one support, but it's still not right. And it definitely wasn't right in this case. If only we had some sort of damage amplifier available to us. To be fair, the Mercy is playing without another support. But yes, there should be damage boosts on, say, the... It hurts. It hurts. Fine. If you... melee here, I'm not going to be super upset because you are generally expecting against this hero for your left click to either finish them or your left click plus melee to finish them. Here you just need to learn the specific hitbox of Symmetra. Yeah, you drifted. You need to drag this back a little bit. This is going to drift. You do need to drag this back to hit her in a more center mass. Her waist is too thin. She's got a bit of an hourglass thing going on here. You wanted to hit her like right here-ish where you're going to get the center mass damage and get some headshot damage. That's really what you were more looking for on this. Instead, you've drifted a little too far to the left, which is unfortunate when this shot comes out. Oh, and it's even worse than that. You mostly sent that over her shoulder. Okay, so yeah, we're going to need to correct that where we're sending that a little bit because we would want to get more out of that. If you go for the melee, yeah, you would generally expect your shot to take her down. If it doesn't, you're finishing with a melee. That's fine. I'm not bothered in this case. It's just a mechanical. Well, it's just a mechanical / knowing the hero issue. Did I just flirt with Symmetra? Maybe.
Time to raise my APM.
Okay. Again, these. So to put this in perspective, this is a little bit better of a breather because it is letting you choose to sustain on this angle. That is a meaningful angle that's different than your team. So hopefully that helps you understand it a little bit. Don't just go back to your team, though. That takes it away.
Heroes never die.
Hold it. Don't shoot at the trap. Don't shoot at the trap. Okay. By shooting at the trap, you risked not being able to shoot at the tire if the tire came around, but wouldn't be the end of the world if the tire came for you because you can breather to survive it easy, but don't fight her in the open. You needed around this corner faster. Yeah, this was not what you wanted to do. You needed to get yourself around this corner where you were back with your team back threatening in that direction, as opposed to here where you're like surrounded. Activating your ult when you're surrounded like this is kind of a feed. Stop typing. Stop typing and play. Maybe you're just waiting on your team to regroup. Maybe you're just waiting on your team to regroup, in which case I'm fine. Okay, you gonna go high ground? You've got plenty of time. Or you can just take that. It's fine, right click. Honestly, that probably wasn't worth a hook. That was probably just take her down with a right click in the first place, but so be it. Okay. You have to immediately turn and hook the Bastion. You die if you don't hook the Bastion. Right idea! Right idea. Breather, breather, breather. But breather and get out. Like, you hooked the Bastion primarily to stop his damage and to give your team a chance to get him down, and you immediately needed to breather and walk out this way. You can't just stand here and be like, I'm going to breather so that I can sustain so that I can then fight them when it's over. It's like, you get out with my breather. And if my team takes him down, so be it. If not, I've still stopped him from just puking out stupid amounts of damage, which is what we wanted to do.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay, scout for the Bastion. You see it. You don't want the sim. You don't want the sim. You're going to take too much damage.
60
Yep.
seconds.
Yeah. Took basically 300 damage in exchange for that sim. Don't want to use breather like this. You were in no danger. DPS players, please follow up on hooks. Watching the Bastion repeatedly get out hurts me. What is Temporal's Overwatch girl hotness tier list? Huh. I wonder if that video would fly. Yeah, I think Malcolm's got that one right.
30 seconds remaining.
Okay, I don't really like spending your hook on that Symmetra when you haven't figured out the Bastion yet. Like, again, this Bastion is your priority. You can hook people when the Bastion can't see you, but you clearly don't know where the Bastion is. He's up in the tree, by the way. You don't really want to be doing this. Like, if you can hook people when you're in places where, hey, I'm totally fine, I'm hooking them back into this, etc., that could be fine, except your Reinhardt's way out here, which means you need to end the Bastion threat. Yes, Sim is a high priority target, but the Bastion, you have to end the Bastion threat. You have to. You have to walk up here and hook the Bastion. Don't breather. Don't walk in while breathering. You're just inviting damage. And they see that you don't have breather now. Again, you can't hook the Roadhog without first right-clicking him. You will lose if you do that. Unless he can't aim. Yeah, I could probably release that one. Maybe a Hero Hotness tier list with Torb at the top. That one would probably be safe. Hammond at the top would not be safe. Someone would take that seriously. This guy isn't a bad Roadhog in many ways. He's just using breather like a bot. He also wanders. I mean, bad on what scale? Like, this is Silver open queue. Like, he does some things well. He hits some hooks fine. Like, he's actually got reasonable hook accuracy for what he's doing. I don't have an issue with that. He lines up his shots for the follow-ups reasonably well on when he hooks people in for hitting them. But he definitely needs to not just use breather to walk in, not just use breather just to heal himself when he's not sustaining an angle. He does need to properly identify where the Bastion is before pushing in. Like, that's something that you just have to do when you're playing against Bastions like this. And he definitely also needs to understand that when he's going against some of these tankier targets, it needs to be right click, hook, left click. It can't just be hook, left click, especially against the other hog here. Like, those are like 3 things that he has to do better. So no, he's, like, there's certainly room for improvement, but there's also certainly not like, oh, this is premier Roadhog play and his teammates are holding him back. Good use of breather. I would never imply that. I would never imply that Torb is not seriously #1. Anyway, I just did my little summary of the things that are most important for him to work on for the first round here, so I'm not going to launch into one. We'll just let this roll through while I catch up on chat. I use breather so I can flame my healers with IF gold healing. Oh boy. I feed a lot of ult to the enemy team, and then I get that ult back in the form of using take a breather to get a terrible ult, and then I wonder why the other team is winning.
Attackers incoming in 30 seconds.
All I'm saying is if he cleans up his breather usage, I can see him being at least in plat. No. No, I mean, maybe in open queue, not in regular. Cleaning up the breather usage would not be enough to get plat. This is going to need to have a better understanding of using cover and space and engagement timing to do that. Like, those are all things that would need to be worked on. Breather can definitely help. Like, there's a lot of very low effort investment to, like, it's going to take very little effort investment to get a lot better at breather, and that's great news because this hog player will see significant gains by working on an ability that is pretty easy to work on, and it'll be great gains. But there is like, hey, we have to be doing our right clicks better, we have to get our peak timings better, we have to not just push in front of our Reinhardt shield to get melted by a Bastion for no reason. Like, there is other stuff that this hog would have to do to be in plat. And some of it is harder than working on his breather usage. But it's great. I think it's great that his breather usage is such a problem because it's, again, going to be a really easy fix. And this hog has already got pretty decent hook accuracy for the level that he's playing at, and better than normal hook accuracy for the level that he's playing at. And he's got doing a reasonable job of shooting at the right places on targets he's hooking in. Obviously, I've called out a few that have been not great, but I've only called out the few that have not been great. Jumbo was right about you? Probably.
3, 2, 1. Attack Attackers
How do you get
incoming.
cold healing if you play behind cover? Exactly, exactly.
Keep an eye on your health and call for me if you need assistance.
This is pretty late to be peeking out here. Like, even if you get this Moira, there's likely to be too many people around here, which sure enough there are, that are going to punish you for this. Like, if you get this Moira, it potentially works. If you don't immediately eliminate this Moira, these two are going to punish you too hard. And even if you get out with Breather, which is not guaranteed because one of them is Hog, and even if it wasn't Hog, it could be a Brig stun, it could be a Sombra hack, it could be any number of things. It could be an Ananade or Sleep. Like, any number of things could make you not get out. But even if you do get out, you've spent Hook, you've spent Breather, you've given them a lot of ult charge, and even if you hit your, what if she dodges your hook with Fade? What if you miss your hook? This is late to be peeking this. Oh boy. And you pop Breather before you've taken damage. You just needed to turn and run. You very much wanted to have Breather for after the hook. And you drop. You didn't actually want to drop here. You wanted to retreat from here so that when they push in, they have to pick between fighting you over here or fighting your team. And if they fight your team or if they drop to fight your team, you get to threaten them from a different angle. If they send people main, you get to threaten them from here. Good hook. Crosshair should have been aimed down there to start. Don't walk into the open before your reload's over. He's got a way better effective range than you. Don't bother. Genji hook was too low probability. Just a right click would have been better, but that's fine. Right click, hook, left click. Good.
We still need heroes never die.
Fine. Get back to cover. Tuck left. Beautiful. Don't need you in the middle here. You can go up to high ground if you want. They don't have strong boobs. Please turn and look at them, though. Please turn and look at them. Thank you. Oh, open Q comps. Okay. Okay, sure. You're going here. This is pretty deep. So you have to not be found out now because too many people can turn and deal with you if you get found out now. You can't engage these people until, like, this is a legit, flank hog is legit, but you have to engage them when they can't afford to come deal with you. When they're engaged, they're engaged with your team. So let's see if you do that or if you pull the trigger too early. You pulled the trigger too early. Fortunately, they're not going to really push you. Okay. Temporal told you that Lucio is the only support that should heal Rein. Yeah, it doesn't sound like something I'd say. We're AFK typing. I mean, like, I'm okay with you going, hey, I want to find this hook. But there's no reason you can't right-click this Moira. Right-click the Moira. You maybe don't want to hook her because you're worried about Fade. Right-click the Genji. Right-click the Soldier. Okay, you find a Soldier. Fine. You're going to get hooked. Well, he breathered. If he didn't breather, you would be frozen by his hook and Bastion would melt you. Actually, he probably didn't have hook. No, he did. Oh, you see that, do you? Mm-hmm.
Enemy
Works for me. Good, you're using cover! But why are you going for the... Oh, you're missing so much from the fight, but I guess you didn't have any cooldowns. You're gonna hit the hook. Easy hook. Good. It's fine. No, no, the whole hog was not fine. The hook was fine.
60 seconds remaining.
I know, Nard, but I'm not gonna try... Like, the turn hook is amazing, but it's not what this player needs the most. Like, the turn hook is amazing to drop people behind you, to drop people to the side of you, to drop people in places where it's harder for them to get out and your team can shoot at them more easily. Don't get me wrong, it's amazing, but in terms of the effort to reward ratio, it's not the thing for this hog to work on next.
Objective lost.
Like, this is open Q silver. The turn hook is not the thing yet. Let's be serious. Look for it. Look for it. Your hook's up. Where is he? Where is he? You can't get him. But you need to look to see if you can get him. Because if you hook him, it cancels his whole ult. It's great. Yeah, you hooked the hog without knowing where Bastion was. You also pushed around this fight. Team isn't super relevant, but hey, you don't really want to push around this fight because your sim is setting up a corner control, and your sim is very unlikely to push around this with you. You're going to play this more defensive, but hey. Okay. Right click. Right click. Right. I don't know why you felt the need to just hop across point like this as opposed to going, yep, I did my job, and now I can just throw right clicks from here, or I can tuck back in here. You think he was body blocking for the res? Okay, let's take a look here. I can't tell. It should still be resable. It's not a wild tick. That's not a wild tick. I still wouldn't really expect my hog to do it when there's a Reinhardt on the team. Like, it's so much easier for Reinhardt to push up and cover this. I would rather Rein cover the res with the shield than Hog do it with his body. And also, if Hog's going to do it with his body, you'd generally be going, hey, I'm standing here, ready to pop breather, etc. But, yeah. No, I'm not buying that. If it was the res, he wouldn't have then gone over here. This wouldn't have been the play. Good try, though. Good reach. No, I meant the res on the Rhine earlier, when you asked why I pushed out of the cover, out over the corner. Okay. This is the corner I'm talking about. Maybe we're talking about a different corner. Okay, doesn't matter. That's fine. This is a really aggressive push from you. This is a really aggressive push around the corner. Like, you walked in deep for this Bastion hook, and there's no way your team could follow it up. Even if you did the full 180, this would be hard for your team to follow up on. And you know you don't do enough damage yourself to take the Bastion out. Like, watch how this is going to play out. Cool. but the Bastion predictably still has health left. So like this isn't what we wanted. This was too deep of a push in to get the Bastion. You had to play this more passively. You had to play this in more of a we're going to enforce the corner type thing, or you could do I peek this, and if I can peek this and hook the Bastion, great, but I can't walk over here to do it. And if I peek the Bastion, I hook him, try to eliminate him. If you could do a 180 turn or even a 90-degree turn with him, that would be great, but I'm not really asking for that right now. Is getting stuck between the payload and the car considered cover? I suppose.
No one can hide from my sight.
Shield coming at you.
I mean, a left click probably would have done it. Left click, hook, left click. You can't, I know, but like, ugh.
The payload has reached the chip.
Okay. You're gonna need practice on the Genjis. You're clearly gonna specifically need practice on some of the vertical flick aiming for this stuff, because that's giving you trouble.
This will restore you.
Yeah, how great, Helix. They got another support. Lucio Mercy, everyone's favorite combination. We can dream. The Lucio healing hog in 6 to 8 weeks, he'll be at full health. About right. Okay, so this isn't the appropriate re-engagement yet. Too many of your teammates are gone, and you're pushing into what is really a 1v6 here, maybe an argument for a 2v6, really a 1v6 here. You don't want to do that because the cart is not about to cap. Your job isn't to stop this cart from moving an inch. Your job is to stop this cart from fully capping. The best way to do that is to wait until you have 3, 4, 5, 6 people, preferably, that can push out all at once to do this. And if other people on your team just push out like lemmings, you're just going to look at the wave of them and go out with a larger wave of them. That's fine. But you should not be one of the lemmings. You should be looking at your team, judging their respawns, judging when they come out, and when they go out, you go out with them, because you are much, much more likely to win a 6v6 3 seconds from now, 8 seconds from now, whatever, than you are a 1v6. You're also much more likely to win a 3v6 than you are a 1v6. So if a 3v6 is the best you can get, that's fine. Come out as 3 and try to fight them as 3. If a 4v6 is the best you can have, great. That's still better than the 3v6. It's way worse than the 6v6, but it's so much better than the 1v6. So that's what you want to do. And you might be going, but Temporal, shouldn't I just like go stall cart until we can come out on real thing? If cart was like here, yes. But the thing is, cart actually has meaningful distance to give that gives you time to set up the real, hey, let's get a 4v6, a 6v6. And also, they have a Bastion sitting on the cart. They're going to just melt you. Your one person staggered delays aren't going to work against a team that has set up a Bastion. Oh, a turn hook would have been an elimination there. That's unfortunate.
The payload is approaching its destination.
The name's McCree.
Okay. Unfortunate. You guys had a good push, but they had a better push through second and third, even though your first hold was okay, and now they get an overtime push and you don't, or an extra round and you don't.
5, 4,
But hey, this is doable.
1. Attackers incoming.
This is really deep for you, and even with Breather, I'm not convinced that you can get out. You hooked their very first person, you didn't let some of them pass and then hook a trailing person, which would have caused them to already be passed and have to think about turning around, and you also didn't go like hook from here, or hook from like here. You hooked right from here. Well, all 6 of them are going to immediately see you. I have very little faith in your ability, even with Breather, to get out and rejoin the safety of your team. You're just too deep for this. And you're too deep at the front of this. It's great that you got her, but they got you in exchange, and they've got the closer spawn. Happy to hear it, Adam. Happy to hear it. That you'd want me as your coach in the Overbowl. But they hooked someone that should be behind everyone. Well, fair point. Okay, where are you gonna go? You're gonna use cart on your cover on the way in. Oof, that hurts. But yeah, that is how that works. Go to your cover. Go to your cover. You don't have to be on point. You needed to go over here. Okay, you're gonna not enjoy this. Good. Cover. Tuck cover until your hook's ready. You're gonna reload and then have hook. Fine. Great. Problem is that Bastion's still on the board. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Okay. So, things that you're going to want to work on. The lowest hanging fruit for you, by far, is your breather usage. Now, you get a little bit more of a longer leash for this in open queue with 1 support than you do in regular, but even for having 1 support, you're doing this wrong. Your breather is specifically to help you sustain when you are away from your team on angles. So, like, it lets you do not this, but this. You can do this, especially if you late peek it and pull in someone from their back line or pull them in after they've engaged or as they're engaging. It lets you go, I'm going to operate independently from my team on a flank and go, I have the breather to help me get back. I can either stay on the angle because after I've taken damage with this breather, or if a lot of people turn to deal with me, as long as I'm not right here in their face, I can run away with breather and that'll heal me and have the damage I'm taking as I'm running away. So, like, breather can help you sustain your angles, or breather can be I'm in the fight, I'm doing this, maybe my Reinhardt's here, maybe I'm here, whatever, I'm doing this, etc., and I hook this, and the fight is happening, and everyone's focused on me. I got a Discord above my head, things like that. Everyone is looking at me, and I'm still going to use my breather and walk out while I'm using my breather, but my breather, its tanking effect is helping me out. Like, it's not just the healing, though the healing's nice, it's the fact that it's reducing incoming damage. I'm not just standing right here and, oh, I took damage, now let me use breather when the fight's happening over here. It's very rare that I would do something like that. It's possible, I suppose, if you're truly missing all 300 health and your supports are just pumping heals into your Reinhardt, but that's not your primary use factor for that. Your use factor is not, I'm standing in the middle of the fight, and when you pop your breather, it's okay, I pop my breather and use it to get out when you're in the middle of the fight. I use my breather to sustain me on the angle. I don't just use my breather generically to heal. If you fix that, you will get a lot more value out of that ability, and your hog is going to get a fair amount better. That is the single easiest thing for you to work on that is going to be worth a lot of value to your hog. The next thing that I want you to work on is I do want you to have a better use of cover. So I want you going, hey, I'm playing from here to hook things. If I'm trying to clean up a hog on the point, I'm going to clean him up from here. I'm not going to clean him up from here where his team is returning on a sight line that can blow me up. If I'm trying to fight a Bastion, I'm going to hook the Bastion from here. I'm not going to walk out in front here to go hook him. I might go, hey, I peek from here and do right-click work, do hook work. I'm not going to go, I just do right-click and hook work in the middle of the street here. That's what we want. We want to use our cover better. Even if we don't hook, even if we don't have breather, even if we just have right clicks available to us, we can play with more cover in mind. We can play with more cover in mind. That's going to help us. We're a big, giant hitbox. We don't want to just let them farm us for ult charge. If they farm us for ult charge, even if it feels like we're hitting lots of hooks, we're getting lots of eliminations, even if it feels graced, we might be surprised that we're losing more games than we think we should when we're just carrying. And the reason for that with hog players is almost always that they're just giving the opponents ton of ult charge without realizing it. And you're doing some of that. You're playing in the open too much. So first work on getting your breather usage fixed, then work on making sure you're using your cover better, and then the third thing, after you've got those two fixed, and please work through these one at a time, focusing on improving on them for like 5 games, 10 games, 30 games, whatever it takes for it to sort of stick that this is now how I use breather and it's sort of ingrained into your autopilot. That's what we're looking for. First thing, second thing, then we move on to our third thing, and our third thing is I really want it to just sort of be automatic that when you're shooting at a hog, you go right click, hook, left click. Unless you already know that that hog is low health, you're going in that order. And Sigma would generally be the same thing against. It would generally be the same thing against a D.Va who isn't matrixing, though you can respect the matrix a little bit with the D.Va. It would generally be the same thing against a Reinhardt, against a Ball, etc. You will occasionally make exceptions to these things when you're going, I am pulling these people in specifically for my team to eliminate. And if I don't hook the Reinhardt this instant, his shield is going to go up. If I don't hook the Ball this instant, he's going to get away, etc. So you can make the occasional exception, but those should be your brain is actively making the exception for a good reason. Like you made an exception against the Sigma because he was rocking, and that was fine. Or you make an exception against the Sigma because he's shifting, and you cancel either of those abilities because, hey, you are like, hey, no, my hook, of course, cancels those if it goes off first. That's okay, but you want those to be the I am mentally overriding your natural inclination to go right click, hook, left click. That's the least important of the 3 things I gave you, but those are all things that matter. So please work on those things. Please work on them basically in the order I gave you. At the very least, start with the take a breather fix, and you're going to find, oh, this game is so much easier than I thought. I'm getting so much more value than I thought. Or if I don't understand why I'm playing better, my SR is going up, and I don't understand why. Hint, it's because the other team doesn't have, 30%, 40% more ults than your team. Okay. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do like and subscribe, as that helps me out quite a bit, and I really do appreciate it. If you have questions, throw them up in chat now. If you guys are looking to get coaching yourself, you can join my Discord in the description below, see what rates look like, see what sort of promos, special events we have going on, all that good stuff. I think I'm going in circles. Okay, let's catch up on our chat here. At Blue Moira, you are not the tip of the spear. Please seek temporal coaching on how to improve. This will lead to less hooks and instant deaths. Yes, it will. I have not seen the clip of Fitzy's translocator getting hooked, but that sounds hilarious. Fade is your friend. If you implement these tips, you'll go from an oinking pig to a screaming hog. I believe it. Yeah, that was fun. Okay, I think that's going to do it. I'll look around to see if there's another thing that makes sense to review right now. I don't have anything immediately lined up, so I'll try to be back in like 5 minutes, but the pickings look a little slim right now. So hope to see you guys in a few. Thanks, guys. Temporal out.